It's been revealed that Prince Andrew hosted the late ex-offender Jeffrey Epstein as well as Ghislaine Maxwell and Harvey Weinstein at the Royal Lodge, the publicly owned home where he effectively lives rent-free after he paid for its renovation.
Today we explore the rising tension inside Royal Lodge, where Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has made an unexpected and shocking request to his former wife Sarah Ferguson as they get ready to leave the Windsor residence they have lived in together for over 2 decades. Sources say Sarah feels angry, embarrassed, and more alone than ever, while Andrew has pulled further into himself following the loss of his prince title and what many describe as quiet exile within the royal circle. However, the situation is about much more than trouble at home. For the first time, people close to them are revealing new details about the unusual bond between Andrew and Sarah. Questions are being asked about why she stayed for so long, what secrets she may know, why Andrew kept her close despite her controversies, money problems, and constant drama, and why both of them are now suddenly open to dating. Reports claim they are both looking for new relationships, with Andrew even joking about using dating apps. As this story unfolds, insiders say Andrew has told Royal Lodge staff that he does not want Sarah anywhere near him, a decision that reportedly left her deeply upset and furious. She is said to feel abandoned, confused, and hurt by his sudden distance after years of closeness. This comes just weeks after King Charles officially stripped Andrew of his prince title, a blow that has made him more withdrawn, guarded, and sensitive. With the forced move from Royal Lodge approaching, sources say Andrew has become colder, sharper, and far less patient with Sarah, while for her the rejection is especially painful because that house represented her sense of security, her home, and the final link to the royal life she built for herself.
Our reports around how Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, of course formerly known as Prince Andrew, is spending his final days at Royal Lodge, and he's said to be ranting to himself.
Andrew is set to relocate to a smaller home on the King's private Sandringham Estate early next year. This move is being called his internal exile, a quiet and isolated life away from Windsor and any royal duties. Inside Royal Lodge, the mood has worsened. Staff say the two are living entirely separate lives in different wings of the house. They only come together occasionally for meals, and even then the talks are described as tense, emotional, and full of worry about what lies ahead. Sarah is reportedly in a state of panic, concerned about her daughters, her future, housing, and her financial security. Andrew, on the other hand, is focused on looking after himself as the consequences of his past actions finally catch up with him. His emotions are said to change from hour to hour.
Apparently what's happening now, they're ranting claims. He's round there, he's had a meltdown at the manor, if you like. He's raging in the Royal Lodge, and it's probably the end of the party former prince. Apparently what's happening, he's ranting to himself.
In recent weeks, sources say Sarah has grown more and more isolated inside Royal Lodge. She reportedly spends most of her days in her own wing or at the estate pub. There are claims she has asked staff to stay longer, so she does not feel so alone. She is described as anxious, scared, and unsure of where she will go once they leave the lodge. For someone who built her entire life after divorce around the royal household, this is a harsh new reality, and it is unclear what she will do next. For years, Andrew and Sarah were seen as the royal couple who never fully separated. They divorced in 1996 but continued sharing a home, the same routines, and, at times, even the same public appearances. Their arrangement worked because it served both their needs. Sarah offered warmth, familiarity, and companionship. Andrew offered stability, protection, and a home. Together, they created a private world inside Royal Lodge that few outsiders truly understood. But recent scandals, the Epstein fallout, financial pressures, and now the loss of Andrew's prince title have broken the fragile balance they maintained for decades. What was once a united front has turned into distant silence and tension. This brings up a deeper question: what was their relationship really based on? Many have wondered why Sarah stayed with Andrew for so many years. Their bond was far from typical. It faced constant scrutiny and survived more scandals than most public relationships could endure. Several factors explain her loyalty. First, Sarah relied on the protection the royal household offered. Royal Lodge was her safe space, shielding her from financial trouble, media attention, and the fallout of her own mistakes. Second, she knew the truth about Andrew's private life. She was there during his time as a trade envoy, aware of the people he met, the favors exchanged, the trips taken, and the lifestyle that raised questions. Staying close to Andrew also kept those secrets contained, giving her influence over him she may have used to her advantage. Third, her finances were closely tied to his. She faced large debts, risky business ventures, and public embarrassment, while Andrew's presence provided security she could not achieve alone. Fourth, she aimed to protect her daughters. Remaining aligned with Andrew's safeguarded Beatrice and Eugenie's position in the royal family. And finally, she feared what would happen if she left. Outside the royal world, she would lose access, resources, and safety. Staying near Andrew kept her secure. For Sarah, loyalty was not just about emotion, it was strategic and deliberate. If her loyalty is one puzzle, Andrew's is an even bigger question. Why did Andrew stay so close to a woman who caused years of embarrassment, scandals, debts, and unpredictable behavior? The answer is complex. First, she holds his secrets. She knows the full story of his private life, what he did, who he met, and how he acted. Keeping her at Royal Lodge ensured those details stayed hidden. Second, they had a mutual protection pact. Exposing one another would have exposed themselves, and their silence protected both. Third, Sarah was useful. She managed the household, offered emotional support, and stood by him even when others distanced themselves. She made him feel understood and respected. Fourth, abandoning her during the height of scandal would have looked harsh, and keeping her nearby softened his image. Finally, they relied on each other. Over time, their relationship became less about romance and more about survival. Neither could function well without the other. For years, observers have speculated about the secrets they both hold. Sarah's financial ties, her questionable friendships, leaked emails mentioning Epstein, and her business dealings drew attention, while Andrew's scandals are well known. Together, they created a world of private arrangements, silent agreements, unusual loyalties, and unspoken rules. Their bond kept everything contained. Now, with Royal Lodge falling apart, the delicate balance that kept everything contained is at risk. One of the most surprising developments in recent months is that both Andrew and Sarah are quietly exploring new romantic relationships. The timing is key. With Royal Lodge gone, the silent agreement that held them together is weakening. Their lives are being pulled apart, and their reliance on each other is fading. Dating again gives them space to create emotional distance, shift public focus, prepare for separate futures, and rebuild their stories before the truth comes out. Some insiders believe their dating may be a way to separate themselves before one of them finally speaks. Royal Lodge has become a symbol of collapse. Staff feel tense, and friends avoid visiting. The house is heavy with unease and unanswered questions. Andrew retreats, while Sarah moves through the halls in worry. Their meals are quiet, tense affairs filled with whispers, long pauses, and growing fear about what will happen when the keys are finally handed over. It is the end of an era, and they both understand that. Share your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this story. Thank you for watching.